explore Scotland remaining in the EU as a member while the rest of the UK left. That now seems to have changed over the past couple of months to seeking to maintain access to the single market.
Membership of the single market.
Well, are you no longer seeking Scotland to remain a member of the EU?
I want Scotland to remain a member of the EU.
But do you accept that's unrealistic?
Well, what I'm trying to do, and I ask people to hear this and to listen to this in the same good faith that I'm putting it forward in. I'm trying to explore whether there is a way of building consensus and building unity around the reality that different parts of the UK voted differently. Scotland voted to stay in, England and Wales voted to leave, Northern Ireland voted to stay in. Even in Scotland, which voted overwhelmingly to remain in the EU, 1 million people voted to leave. So what I'm trying to do is to see whether with compromise and a focus on building consensus, there is a proposition that the maximum number of people can get behind. That's
but you haven't put that proposition forward, have you?
Yes, I have. I put it forward on the 20th of December.
Well, Scotland's place in Europe, you talk about being committed to exploring with the UK government the mechanisms whereby Scotland could remain.
Well, we put forward, we're the only government anywhere in the UK that's put forward a comprehensive plan about how we move forward from this position. More than 6 months after the referendum, we have a Prime Minister and a UK government that still hasn't put forward any answers to basic questions. So we've put forward a plan which is, firstly, we want to try to work with others across the UK, across the political spectrum, to try to keep the UK in the single market. If that can't be done, then we want to explore ways, and we've put forward how we think this can be done, of keeping Scotland in the single market while continuing to protect free trade across the rest of the UK. And we have said very clearly, of course, that would require additional powers for the Scottish Parliament. I think there's a lot of consensus starting to build around some of those additional powers, for example, on immigration. So we've put forward very detailed plans about how we avoid a hard Brexit. And the reason it's important to avoid a hard Brexit, let's not forget, is because that will have a devastating impact on our economy and on jobs. So I've, in a sense, been willing, and I'm willing to put aside my preferred option of independence in the EU to see if we can explore a consensus and compromise option.
So if there's a soft Brexit, then your talk of a second independence referendum comes off the table?
I'm never going to stop arguing for independence. I think Scotland will become independent, and I think that's the direction of travel. But we're talking at the moment in the context of the Brexit vote.
But if there's But if there's a soft Brexit, then it's no longer highly likely that we will have a second independence
referendum. In the
referendum.
timescale of Brexit is what we're talking about just now. And what I've said is if we can find a way of protecting Scotland's economic interests, of protecting our democratic interests within the UK, then I'm up for trying to do that. I've put forward proposals.
Taking independence off the table for the short term.
In terms of the timescale of Brexit, that's what I've been very clear about. Am I going to stop arguing for independence or believing in independence? Am I going to stop believing Scotland is on a journey to independence? No, but we're talking here in the particular context and timescale of Brexit. And I'm putting these proposals forward in good faith. I'm deliberately saying put my preferred option to one side and asking people if we can find a consensus and compromise option.